Schrödinger is considered one of the fathers of quantum mechanics, namely because of the famous thought experiment he proposed in 1935, best known as Schrödinger's cat paradox. A cat is placed in a sealed box along with a flask of poisonous gas, a hammer, a radioactive substance, and a gyro counter. When the radioactive material decays, the gyro counter detects it and triggers the hammer, which breaks the flask, releasing the poison, subsequently killing the cat. The amount of radioactive substance is such that over the course of 1 hour it has a 50% chance of being detected, so the cat has a 50% chance of dying or staying alive. If this experiment was repeated enough time, we would see that half the time the cat survives and half the time it doesn't. But the radioactive decay being a random process, it's impossible to predict if or when it will happen. This experiment is meant to explain simply the quantum theory. As long as nobody opens the box, we don't know whether the cat is dead or alive, but once we look into the box, he's either dead or alive, but not both. In terms of quantum physics, before we look, the cat is in a mixed state, simultaneously dead and alive, and it's our act of observing that forces nature to collapse to one reality or another. Quantum theory states that until a particle is measured, it exists in all of the states it could possibly be in. They can even be in two opposed states at the same time. Indeed, the equation given the position of an electron at a precise moment is based on probabilities. In other words, if the probability for an electron to be here is equal to x%, there y%, and there z%, it's mathematically correct to say that the electron is simultaneously at the three locations at the same time. And if the electron is in different states of these positions, then it exists in all of these states at the same time as well. It is called principle of quantum superposition. Moreover, the cat's fate becomes linked to the outcome of the experiment because it depends on the sequence of events that will lead or not to its death. This principle is called entanglement, which can be observed, for instance, in the quantum eraser experiment. So this paradox is a thought experiment illustrating the quantum theory. As a quantum object, it's mathematically correct to say the cat is simultaneously both dead and alive at the same time in the box, when the box is sealed, because determining its states involves a set of probabilities, and it is our curiosity that leads to quantum decoherence. But as quantum mechanics only apply to the atomic or subatomic scale, Schrödinger himself claimed it was ridiculous and impossible as cats were everyday macroscopic objects and not quantum ones. Anyway, no interpretation is today agreed on in the world of physics. Copenhagen School says that the quantum superposition must remain a mathematical concept and must not be illustrated physically, because an intuitive science has no physical meaning. To the contrary, Everett's many words theory states that everything that has a statistical probability to happen in what can be called an infinite multiverse, with as many universes as there are possibilities. In other words, if Schrödinger opens the box, he becomes automatically part of the universe in which the cat is in the state he found it. Imagine the amount of combination there could be to the scale of the universe.